Hey everyone, Gary of the Elysiums. Welcome back to another album ranking video. Now before we get in this video, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button, like this video, and help support my channel. I'd really appreciate it. Today we're going to be ranking the studio discography of Marilyn Manson. Now Marilyn Manson is not only just a person, but is the name of the band. So Brian Warner is actually Marilyn Manson, who goes by that, and the person we know. But little do we know that the band is actually called Marilyn Manson. They were formed in 1989 by Brian Warner and guitarist Daisy Berkowitz. Now, when the band first started, every band member would pick a name. Now, the reason they would pick a name was they would go with a beautiful woman or like a model, someone, like that, as the first name, and the last name would be the last name of his serial killer. Hence Marilyn Manson. We had Marilyn Monroe, so we got the Marilyn there, and then Manson from Charles Manson. Daisy Berkowitz, we got the Son of Sam there. And then I'm not really sure where the Daisy's from. Anyway, we have Madonna Wayne Gacy is a band member. There's a couple of them. I can't really think of the rest of the top of my head, but besides those members, we also had the great John Five in the band. We had Twiggy Ramirez, who would play bass and later switch to guitar. Just a really cool band. They were when they were formed in '89. They really didn't get popular until probably the mid to late '90s. They were founded in 1993 by Trent Reznor of Nine Inch Nails. At the time, they were called Marilyn Manson and the Spooky Kids. They decided to drop the Spooky Kids. They signed to Trent Reznor, labeled Nothing, and they would release their debut album in 1994. Now, enough with a little bit of a history. Let's get right into it. So, Marilyn Manson, they can be defined as industrial, alternative metal, definitely shock rock. They were huge with the nu metal scene, but they weren't considered nu metal and never really had an album that would be considered nu metal, let alone even a song. But all us nu metal kids loved Marilyn Manson. It was kind of like our stepping stone into like, hey, this shock metal's cool, but we also like these bands like Korn, Deftones, and all that. All right, so coming in at number 12, The High End of Low. This album was released in 2009. It's actually written about the divorce that Manson was going through at the time to Dita Von Teese. There is some more heavier songs on here reminiscent of his early days, but then there's some ballads on here that just get boring at times. This saw the return of Twiggy Ramirez after a few albums. Now this album here I have is a 2-disc deluxe edition with 6 bonus tracks, which are basically just alternate versions and a remix. Some of the cool songs off here is Pretty as a Dollar Sign, and Armageddon Motherfucking Geddon was a really good song off of this. Probably the 2 best songs off here. Some cool titles like I'm Gonna Kill You, like they do in the movies. I had to look up just to see hell. But over the 15 tracks, you kind of lose interest, and not his strongest album. I think it's a really cool album cover. When this came out, I was like, oh, that's a cool cover. I like this. Had higher hopes, but kind of fell short. And I should say that with Manson, there aren't really any bad albums. Like, there's nothing unlistenable. I should put that out there. Coming in at number 11 is Born Villain. This was released in 2012. It's a concept album of sorts, basically chronicling the lifestyle of a celebrity rock star, especially someone as big as Marilyn Manson. This record, I think this is his first not to be on a major label. Yeah, Cooking Vinyl was on. He would later go on to sign with Loma Vista after this. The title track's a decent song off of here. No Reflection was the single released to promote the album. It is a good song, and at the time I really loved it. He released a cover, which was the last song on this, a cover of Carly Simon's You're So Vain. I thought it was really cool when it came out. I've listened to it for years. Haven't really listened to it too often recently. Yesterday I put it on to see how I still like it, and I don't really feel like it holds up. This is not really an album I grab too often. Coming at number 10, this is Eat Me, Drink Me. This was more of a kind of a love album, I should say. I feel like he was like writing this towards Dita Von Teese at the time. 2007 release. Yes. If I Was Your Vampire, which opens it, is probably my favorite song off of this. Putting Holes in Happiness is a great song. Heart-Shaped Glasses, that was the single that was released from this album. Really hard to see the titles there. Overall, I don't hate the album. I think it's really cool. It's more of a laid back, chilled album in my opinion. Kind of something you just want to. You're not gonna really headbang to or anything on this one. But yeah, it's kind of almost like a. It gives me like a like almost like him, like a vampiric vibe to it. That's what I got from this one. Now these next 9 were really tough to categorize because I was like, I like them all. They're all really well done and great albums. But coming number 9, I have to rank them. We Are Chaos. When this album came out, I saw the cover and I was like, okay, he's kind of going back to his heavier roots. There are some heavy songs on this. We Are Chaos. The title track is just an amazing song. Don't Chase the Dead. Infinite Darkness. Keep My Head Together. And the cool thing, I thought that this was produced by Manson and Shooter Jennings. As you know, Shooter Jennings, he's the son of Waylon Jennings, I believe. The son of Waylon Jennings. But yeah, overall decent album. Released in 2020. So I was glad to have Manson back in 2020. And especially with that album cover, I was like, all right, that reminds me of the earlier days. And maybe he's bringing that back. Coming at number 8. These next two could flip-flop. But today I'm going with number 8. The Golden Age of Grotesque. So this album was released kind of as the musical landscape was changing. Nu metal was dying. Metalcore was on the rise. Emo was on the rise. And Manson did this little weird thing, which was like gothic gangster. Like he wore like vampire grills and suits and different things like that. This is a slipcover. There you see the whole band. Decent album. I like it. This is a 2 CD version, deluxe version. Oh, this is Doppelhers, which is a kind of a film that Manson made. So this one, I feel, in my opinion, kind of ended the Manson, the Marilyn Manson that we all know, the Marilyn Manson that got huge, that got popular, that style. This would follow up. Lest we forget, the best of. This would follow up this album. So I feel like this kind of closed one chapter, and a new one would open. With a little more serious Manson, in my opinion. When I say by serious, I mean like a little more, not better writing, but a little more thoughtful writing, I should say. Great songs on here. This Is the New Shit was a big song for him. Mob Scene, Doll Dagga, Buzz Buzz, Ziggity Zag is a cool sing along. Use Your Fist, Not Your Mouth. Saint, another big song, the title track. Again, though, with the 15 songs, they could have cut a couple songs off. A little too long for me. But overall, it starts off very heavy and very good. It's more of a top-heavy album. It kind of winds down towards the end. Coming at number 7. This is Heaven Upside Down. Released in 2017. This was a different Manson. I mean, as you can see on the cover there, he's just in black and gray, almost no makeup on. Not the Manson we came to love and grow up with, but it's still him. We love him. Very, very cool album. Like I said, with closing that first chapter, this was more of Manson, a more mature Manson. The songwriting got a little better, a little more serious. He's not, not with the tongue in cheek as much. Not with the, like, what I would call like teenage humor almost. Very, very strong album. Produced by Tyler Bates. Tattooed in Reverse. We Know Where You Fucking Live. Jesus Crisis. Blood Honey. The title track is my favorite off of this. And Threats of Romance, which ends it. Like I said, not a headbanger at all, but a really good album just to throw on and listen to and really hear the depth of where Manson went as a songwriter. All right, we are now at where are we at? We're at number 6. Number 6. This is his newest album, believe it or not. One Assassination Under God. When I say believe it or not, is it is this high because I absolutely love this album. When this came out, I was like, all right, the artwork definitely resembles We Are Chaos. See the resemblance there. I was like, let's do it. I liked We Are Chaos. Let's see where it went. This blew me away. Really, really good. The title track, which opens it, No Funeral Without Applause, is just amazing. Probably my favorite song off of this. Not If You Understand. As Sick as the Secrets Within. Sacrilegious. Death Is Not a Costume. Meet Me in Purgatory. Raise the Red Flag. Sacrifice of the Mask. Now, what I like about this album is we are at 9 songs. And all 9 songs are perfect. There's no filler on this, in my opinion. Doesn't go on too long. It doesn't get boring in any spots. Really strong album. I don't want to say I'm shocked, but I'm very happy that this late in the career, we're in 2024 now. 2024, released on Nuclear Blast Records, that he released an album this strong. Really, really excited to see where he goes from here. And I would love to see Manson all over the place again, like he was in the mid to late 90s and even the early 2000s. I think like he definitely dropped off the popularity chart, but us loyal fans are still there and we're loving his new music. Coming number 5, Pale Emperor. Man, what a strong album. Super strong album, excuse me. So this followed up Heaven Upside Down. This is a 2019 release, I want to say. Doesn't have the year. I'm pretty sure it was 2019. But yeah, awesome album, Deep Six, great song. That was a lead-off single to help promote the album. Third Day of a 7-Day Binge, Worship My Wreck, Slave Only Dreams to Be King. Again, 10 songs, 10 perfect songs. The songwriting is strong, probably his strongest songwriting in my opinion. The band is just jamming. Again, it's more of an album you're going to sit to, you're going to think about, you're going to listen to, you're going to absorb. You're not going to sit there, you're not going to headbang and think you're at the old Manson concerts where he's walking around in a thong and a girdle and all that stuff. Really, really strong album. Very, very good. For those people that were fans of Manson in the early days and haven't really listened to him since, haven't listened to him in the early 2000s, any of his new stuff, check this album out, The Pale Emperor. Super, super strong album. Really, really good stuff. And a perfect goth rock album, if I should say. Perfect goth rock. That's the phrase I should have used. Perfect goth rock. All right, coming number 4 is Hollywood from 2000. Obviously, the album cover was controversial when it first came out. This is a slipcase. So this was, I think, this might have been the censored cover, actually. They might have switched it when it first came out. I forget. Something like that. So at this time, when the band came out, or when this album came out, I should say, it was after Columbine. So Columbine, that obviously horrible tragedy that happened at Columbine High School back in, was it 99? The beginning of 99, where a couple kids that were known as the Trenchcoat Mafia decided to open fire on all their classmates and teachers and peers, and just a horrible situation that happened. The media decided to move towards Marilyn Manson and blame him for it because the kids that did the killings were fans of Marilyn Manson and wore his t-shirts to school and all this, and they think that Marilyn Manson himself caused the murders, which is ridiculous. Manson himself came out and said, I don't condone this, and I would never ask for the killings of people like this. And what is crazy, I think, is some people wanted Manson to like own it and to add to his shock value. But this is music is entertainment, and you know, Marilyn Manson's here to make music for us, and for his people to enjoy. And he's not going to promote killing, obviously. Anyway, when this came out, Manson was actually doing a tour he was on Ozfest 2001. I don't want to say a headlining tour. He was headlining Ozfest 2001, but obviously Black Sabbath was, so he was the highest bill underneath Black Sabbath. The Love Song was all over MTV TRL, believe it or not. The Fight Song, another great song on here. Disposable Teens, that was the song that was on Disposable Teens and the Fight Song. They were the songs on TRL. They were all over MTV, excuse me. But just a really, really strong album. God, which opens it into Love Song, The Fight Song, Disposable Teens, Target Audience, President Dead, In the Shadow of the Valley of Death. I mean, just those 7, like, bang, 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 bang. Just great. Again, we are at 17 tracks on here. A little long again. Again, another top-heavy album. The Nobodies is probably the greatest song after the first 7 I named. That comes in track 10. But, Lamb of God is kind of losing a little interest. Born Again, Crucifixion in Space, Burning Flag, Coma Black was cool. Valentine's Day is cool. And this one actually features a bonus track, which is the acoustic version of Nobodies. So this album was probably the last huge Marilyn Manson album, in my opinion. All right, comment number 3 from 1994. This is the debut album, Portrait of an American Family, produced by Trent Reznor himself on the Nothing and Interscope label. As you can see there, that artwork features, or I should say the cover features artwork similar to Claymation, kind of like the old Gumby and Clay Fighter video game, and even get some of Tool's Sober, the Claymation used in there. Just a cool cover. Very simple. You got the you got the kids. There's a naked baby, Slainer, okay. You got the kid playing with toys. You got the dad with a beer. You got the mom holding a cigarette. Really strong album. When this came out, there was nothing like it. Absolutely nothing like it. This was shock rock, and it didn't really have a label. 90s metal at the time was death metal. I mean, death metal was huge in the 90s. Black metal was huge. Not in the media, but in the metal scene, they were huge. This didn't really fit anywhere yet. This was a whole new style. This was shock metal. This was shock rock for the 90s. This wasn't your 70s Alice Cooper shock rock. Cake and Sodomy, which is the first song that opens it, like, what a fantastic tune. Lunchbox is great. Organ Grinders, Cyclops, Dope Hat, which is probably my favorite off this album. Get Your Gun, Wrapped in Plastic, Dogma, Sweet Tooth, Snake Eyes and Sissies, My Monkey, and Misery Machine. I mean, you got this guy on the back, and you're just like, what the hell am I getting? What am I listening to? You cannot sedate all the things you hate. Obviously, parents did not like this when this came out. This was different, like I should say. Like I said already. I mean, the cover art is awesome. I love the font of the band's writing with the green around it. Just a really, really strong album, and that's why I have it at number 3. Now, before we get into the first 2, I kind of want to bring up an honorable mention. I know I don't usually do this, but I feel like I have to include this album, because this was the first Manson album that I've heard and I got into. It Smells Like Children. So this is more of an EP, even though it's 15 tracks. It is not an official studio release. There are a couple new tracks on here. There's covers, there's remixes. It's just a different type of album. Diary of a Dope Fiend, Sympathy for the Parents, the cover of Sweet Dreams from Eurythmics. Marilyn Manson's biggest song to date. Just an amazing, amazing song. I never get tired of it. One of my favorite covers of all time. And released in '95, that video was all over the place, and we got introduced to Marilyn Manson for the first time, and you're just like, what is this? What is this guy? I mean, just the cover itself was iconic, with Manson with that green glow on him, and the band's name just written in the Willy Wonka font. At the cover of "I Put a Spell on You," it's creepy and brooding, and almost reminds you of like, down New Orleans, South type style. White Trash, the remix of White Trash was, I love it. It was hilarious. And as a kid at this time, I remember my friend had it, and it was like one of the first CDs that we had to have this parental advisories, like that was really pushed. Like, this album you need that parental advisory for. Nowadays it's probably not shocking at all, but who knows, this new generation's offended by so much. Just such a strong album. There are some stuff that you want to skip, and it's kind of cringy at times. There's the band there, but what a shock value did we have to this album. And as a kid, I was 9-10 when this came out, and hearing these words for the first time, and oh wow, he said that, oh cool. It was just you gotta hide this from your parents, make sure they don't know you have this. Just a cool album, and I wish I could rank it, but it's not really a studio album, which is the reason it's not here. All right, coming number 2. This is going to be controversial. I know it is. This is voted as one of the greatest albums in the '90s, and it's always voted as Manson's best album. I have it at number 2. Antichrist Superstar. With this album, Manson was on top of the world. He was on, he was on 2020. He was on, World News Tonight, just showing like what are our kids listening to? What is this? The sound of the youth. What are we listening to? Look at this character and his outfits and the shock value of the shows. And he's a Satan worshiper and a devil worshiper, and he belongs to the Church of Satan and all that stuff. I mean, the guy he said what he wanted. He offended and didn't care. And he was just, like I said, on top of the world. There's the back cover. This is a slipcase. The slipcase itself features the iconic album art here. This is what it really looks like inside. I don't know. I much favor this. I remember when I first got this. I think a friend traded it to me, but it was without the slipcover. So I just had this for years and years, and I finally broke in. I don't know if I traded in or did what, and then I bought this. It's starting to fall apart. As you can see, it's yellowing inside from being old. Yeah, I've listened to this album so much. And then just the disc itself, I love that symbol. I was putting that on all my book bags and notebooks back in the day, back in school. Oh man, what a strong album. Irresponsible Hate Anthem, which opens it, is awesome song. I absolutely love it. Probably his second biggest hit, The Beautiful People. It's probably his biggest original song, but I still think Sweet Dreams is his biggest song. Dried Up, Tied, and Dead to the World. Tourniquet. I remember watching that video on MTV, and I was like, what is this? I don't think I should be watching this yet. It's creepy, but it's also weird. It's a guy in these outfits. Like, I just don't think I should be watching this, but I'm also not in the guys. I don't know what's going on there. Anyway, Little Horn, Crypto Child, Deformography, Worm Boy, Mr. Superstar, awesome song. Angel with Scabbed Wings, Kinderfeld. And that's where I'm going to interrupt for a second. This is the reason I bring it at number 2. I feel like those songs sometimes get a little, I don't want to say boring, but I kind of lose a little interest. I'm not really paying attention. But at track number 12, when this title track, Antichrist Superstar, kicks in, it's picking me back up. It's kind of like this album starts really high. It's high. With Tourniquet, you're going here. It's still an awesome song, but it's not as rocking as the first couple. And then it kind of evens out a little bit. Like I said, I don't kind of lose a little bit of tension. The Antichrist Superstar brings you back up to here. It's like, whoa, my ears just opened up again. What am I hearing? 1996, what an awesome song. 1996, I used to put this album on sometimes, like, just to hear 1996 and turn it off again. I was like, I just gotta hear that song today. Minute of Decay, The Reflecting God, and of course, The Great Man That You Fear, which ends it. Such a strong album. Yeah, like I said, Manson was on top of the world with this. You went from this to this, and then this, along with 9 Inch Nails, the Downward Spiral, The Perfect Drug that came out around that time from 9 Inch Nails. This was right before the Fragile, so like there was some shock value with the Closer video and Manson, and like these two bands, like they're ruling the 90s right now. They're like, hey, don't let your parents know you're listening to this. All right, coming in at number 1 is my favorite Marilyn Manson album, Mechanical Animals from 1998. Now, with this album, it's not only a great Manson album, it's not only a amazing shock rock album and amazing alternative metal album, it is a glam metal album at the same time. You can actually hear influences of glam metal from like David Bowie. I mean, just look at that cover there. Manson himself, he's like a alien body. I don't know what's going on. But he's got a new iconic glam look. Again, blue CD. How cool is that? A blue jewel case. Like, we didn't see this yet. It's such a strong album. This is the album that I listen to back to forth and never get bored. I love every single song off of here. The Great Big White World, which opens it, into the Dope Show, another huge hit for Manson that got some radio play. Again, the music video was so shocking, but it was played all the time. The title track's awesome. Rock is Dead, a really, really heavy hit single from the band. Disassociative, awesome song. The Speed of Pain, Post-Human, I Want to Disappear. I don't like the drugs, but the drugs like me. You definitely hear 80s Bowie glam influence in that song. New Model 15, great song, user-friendly, fundamentally loathsome. The Last Day on Earth, and then the great Chroma White. I absolutely love that song. And to me, that ended the trilogy, or I should say, what do you call it? Foursome? I don't know. That ends this great era of Manson. Then he would go on to do Hollywood, but this album for me is just absolutely amazing. Like I said, I know this is going to be controversial. I'm sure there's some people that are not huge Manson fans, but they're enough to, maybe not rank this at number 1. There could be people that do agree with me with the number 1 just because of the accessibility of this album and the different genres he blends in. And there's going to be people that are like, this is number 1 no matter what. I don't care what you say. But for me, Mechanical Animals, number 1. All right, everyone. That is my ranking of Marilyn Manson's studio discography. And remember, all these album rankings I do are strictly my opinion. It's not set in stone. It's not anyone else's opinion. It's not voted on. It's my opinion. And a lot of these albums might change. I've done album rankings 5-6 years ago that nowadays I'm like, I could probably swap that one, and they released a new album and maybe I need to redo it, put that in there. I don't know if that day will come when I revisit some of the album rankings. I want to thank everyone for watching. I really do appreciate it. Drop in the comments what you think is Manson's best album in your ranking. All right, everyone, thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video.